All right, everybody. Good afternoon. What is going on? Hope everybody is still doing well today. And for this video, we're going to be talking about a player on the Seahawks who did not actually play last night. Because the fact that he didn't play was notable and interesting, arguably even more interesting than if he had played. We're talking about Tyrice Knight. Tyrice Knight did not play a single defensive snap yesterday. I don't believe he played on special teams either. And that was interesting. I didn't necessarily expect that. The Seahawks obviously kept a lot of their crucial players on the bench yesterday. But apparently, Tyrice Knight is among those crucial players, which is not something that was the case last week against Dallas, I guess, but it was this week. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. So why would Tyrice Knight not play in yesterday's game? Well, it's not because we've already decided we're going to cut him, right? I think we can all safely conclude that's not happening. No, Tyrice Knight didn't play in last night's game because we already know that we like him and value him and plan on using him a lot in the 2026 season, and he's a guy we don't want to risk. It's the same reason why we didn't play Jadarian Price. It's the same reason why we don't play Sam Darnold or Charles Cross or DeMarcus Lawrence, which is definitely surprising because nominally Tyrice Knight is still a backup on this team. And we felt so confident in what he showed last week and what we think he can do for us. Apparently, we were like, no, it's more important we give reps to guys like Chaz Surratt or shoot, Pooh Paul Jr. and some of the other backup linebackers. I think it was, what's his name? Aaron Lewis? Aaron something. Can't remember his name for sure, but Tyrice Knight, I guess we've seen what we need to see from him. So what do we glean from that? What do we take away from that? What could be the plan here? Because in theory, you've got two starting inside linebackers in Ernest Jones and Drake Thomas, and I don't believe that Knight is going to push either of those two guys to the bench. So what could be the plan here, knowing that Tyrice Knight has proven that he is capable of playing at a high level in the NFL? This isn't just the preseason game last week, although he did play very, very well in that game. But we saw good play from him last year, and we saw good play from him the year before. The main issue has just been the injuries he worked through last year. And I think that the answer probably lies in something that has been a topic of discussion on this channel quite a bit recently, but I haven't necessarily looked for the solution a lot in this area. But I do think that there's going to be some sort of plan to utilize Tyrice Knight as an outside linebacker in this defense, which is to say basically an edge rusher, and try to unleash him and give him opportunities to impact the game that way. And this works out really well because I do think this team could benefit a little bit from having a fifth edge rusher they can throw out there. Tyrice Knight is not a player that you would necessarily need to throw out there a lot to satisfy him because, as far as he knew, he was entering the season as a backup anyway. So if he gets to play on the field even like 10 snaps a game as an edge, that's more than he was getting before. And it is something that we've seen this team mess around with. Like Tyrice Knight has lined up as an edge some over the last couple of seasons. We saw it last week. And we also saw Drake Thomas lining up as an edge rusher in practice. So there seems to be a little bit of a plan brewing here. All right, guys, let's take a quick break here to talk a little bit about Prize Picks, currently the #1 sports pick app in America. The app is very easy to use. Check it out to my left here. You can do player picks, where you just pick more or less on a few player stats and lock in your lineup. Or you can pick teams, where you pick winners, spread, or total on any game or fight. The app is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Right now, they have a great offer. You can play your first $5 lineup and get $150 in lineups if you win. All you have to do is use code HMA when you sign up. It's a brand new offer, best time possible to get on the app. So get on over there and get to winning that first lineup. So remember, Prize Picks, code HMA. Download the app today and remember to always gamble responsibly. If you go back and look at the first 2 seasons of Tyrice Knight's career, 2024, 2025, he did line up as an edge rusher a fairly noticeable amount. In 2025, it was 37 snaps. In 2024, it was 43 snaps. So it was a little bit more in 2024, but remember, he also played more in 2024. So percentage-wise, it was a little bit more as an edge. By the way, all of his defensive line snaps are as an outside edge rusher. He did not line up like as a B gap defender or anything like that. He was an edge rusher every time he lined up as a defensive lineman. So basically, it's 80 snaps across a 2-year span of 877 total snaps. So that's actually a pretty high percentage. That's a higher percentage than I think you're going to find for a lot of middle linebackers. Like, I don't think Ernest Jones has lined up anywhere near that much percentage-wise as an edge rusher. I think that it's very, very rare with somebody like him. And in a Mike McDonald defense, the ability to have multiple roles like that and move around like that and have different responsibilities from week to week is very valuable. And what were the 2 biggest plays that Tyrice Knight made last season? They were the 2 strip sacks he had against the Cardinals in that Week 10 game where he was rushing the passer. So you look at it, this seems like something that he can do fairly well. This seems like something that he can offer up. And it would also help to take him out of one of the struggles in his game, which is coverage. Especially last year, coverage was a pretty big problem for him. He was not a very effective cover player at all. 25 out of 26 catches allowed last season, by the way. So really, really rough in terms of forcing incompletions and stuff like that. So allowing him to be an edge rusher who just chases the quarterback would kind of take him out of that role. Like I said, it also takes a little bit of the stress off of trying to find a fifth edge where there may not be one. Because guys like Connor O'Toole, as good as Connor O'Toole played yesterday, maybe he's not ready to make an impact in an actual NFL game. Maybe Jared Ivey, maybe Jalen Gaines, maybe they're just not there yet. And Tyrice Knight seems like he might be there. So I'm kind of liking this idea. By the way, if you go to the preseason game that we played against the Cowboys last week, he lined up as an edge rusher 4 times, which, I mean, it's 26 total snaps. That's certainly not nothing. So it seems like this is something that he can do and maybe do it better than anybody else we have behind our top 4. And you could see some mixing and matching too. Maybe Tyrice Knight lightens up as a linebacker on some plays and Drake Thomas slides to the edge. And the fact that you have multiple guys that are capable of doing stuff like that and still playing effectively is going to lend a lot of credence to Mike McDonald's defense, which is based around stuff like this. So I think that's where we are right now with Tyrice Knight. I think that's probably the plan. That would be my best guess. I think you're going to see Tyrice as an edge rusher a pretty decent amount throughout the season, and that's how we're going to find snaps for him. If we didn't have some kind of a plan like that, I don't know why you would just not play him in a preseason game. So that's what I got. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Pretty exciting. It's fun to have him back out there. I'm happy we're able to get something out of him. And I'm happy that he's able to get on the field as well, which is beneficial to his career, obviously. All right, go Hawks. See you guys later. More stuff coming soon.